The first 3 weeks of the 2023 NFL season are now wrapped up, and there was, of course, a ton of bad. Was it your favorite team? Was it your favorite player? Well, in this video, I'm going to be highlighting the worst moments from the NFL so far. Insert 30 minutes of Bears highlights. Sorry, Bears fans, I had to do it. If you were a Vikings fan laughing at that Bears slander, strap in, as the Vikings take the award for probably being the most embarrassing team thus far, turning the ball over 9 times in just 3 games. 2 fumbles and an interception against the Bucs, but they crushed that score, fumbling the ball 5 times against the Eagles, turning the ball over 4 times. In addition to all these turnovers, the Vikings were 11-0 in one-score games last season, but as of now, they are 0-3 in one-score games in 2023. The Vikings luckily had a Madison fumble and turnover reverse, but they still managed to turn the ball over twice against the Chargers and lose on the goal line. However, the only reason the Vikings had another golden opportunity to take the lead at the goal line after turning the ball over on downs was because of an amazing coaching decision by Brandon Staley. Luckily, Justin Herbert squeaked out with his first win of the season, but come on, when are the Chargers gonna fire Brandon Staley? They're so lucky the Vikings lost in classic Vikings fashion. Moving back to week 1, all of America got to watch the Giants lose at home on Sunday Night Football to the Cowboys 40-0. This game was hilarious, and Gano shanking a 36-yard field goal down 26-0 before half just made it even better. But somehow that wasn't even the worst loss through the first 3 weeks of the season, as Mostert and a chain combined for 8 touchdowns as the Dolphins scored 70 points on the Broncos defense. 70. The Broncos are now in hell. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson aren't cooking shit, and week 2 was just as bad for them. In week 2 at home, the Broncos blew a 21-3 lead against the Commanders. And of course, they had a chance to tie the game with a 2-point conversion after a Hail Mary, and they failed. Now, there definitely was a missed PI call on the 2-point conversion, but it looks even worse blowing a 21-3 lead against a Sam Howell-led offense when you see what he did in week 3. Sam Howell came out in week 3 to prove that the Commanders' 2-0 start was a fluke, throwing 4 interceptions, one of them being a pick 6. And of course, Josh Allen saw the interception fest going on, and he made sure to get in on it as well. And sadly for Josh Allen, it looks like he's going to have to reset his single game interception record for this season after Howell took it from him, as he had 3 interceptions in week 1, all to Whitehead. Rumor has it these two are now best friends. And probably the biggest fail throughout the first 3 weeks was Aaron Rodgers' season-ending Achilles tear. This wasn't a fail, it's just unlucky. This is why the Jets can't have anything nice. But the fail comes in with Zach Wilson playing the last 3 games for the Jets, and he's still terrible. Jets fans are pissed. Jets players are even pissed. Yeah, it looks like Zach Wilson just couldn't learn enough from Rodgers. Moving on to some more quarterbacks. Our next one, Deshaun Watson. I've been praying on Deshaun Watson's downfall. It's finally paying off. Mr. Groper threw a pick 6 on the first play of the week 2 Monday Night Football game. Then he showed us that he's a true hero and is sticking to his old ways, getting handsy with a ref later on in that Monday Night Football game. And then he was getting handsy with the Steelers, recording 2 horrible, blatant face mask penalties. 2. I mean, it's rare to see a face mask penalty. It's rare to have a quarterback have a face mask penalty, but 2 in 1 game from a quarterback? And then Watson delivered us this gem week 3 against the Titans. That's $230 million guaranteed. Watson did have a better game week 3 against the Titans, but his defense has carried him to a 2-1 start for the Browns. I hope he has a season-ending injury. I wish his Achilles would have snapped, preying on the downfall of Deshaun Watson. You know what? Here's a huge fail. Explain this one, NFL. Deshaun Watson abuses a ton of women. He's only suspended for 11 games, and during that 11-game suspension, he's still able to use the Browns facility to practice individually. Now, Jameson Williams made a bet at the Detroit Lions facility, not on the NFL. Nobody knew the rule. He's suspended for 6 games, over half of what Deshaun Watson was suspended for, and he wasn't allowed to use the team's facility for the first 3 weeks. Moving on to some more foul quarterback play, Justin Fields and the Bears have been the laughingstock of the NFL so far. Fields has more interceptions than passing touchdowns. 4 interceptions, 2 of them pick 6s, 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. Bears are in absolute hell. Everyone that thought the Bears were going to be good are now the biggest clowns, and it's amazing. And it doesn't help that the Bears DC had to resign after the FBI raided his house. Resigned due to inappropriate behavior. Yeah, we all know what this man was looking at. Staying with the NFC North and with quarterbacks, Jordan Love for the Packers has had some pretty funny moments in his start with the Packers. Here, he thought he had the snap and was going for the QB sneak. And then against the Saints, the Packers seemed to have run a play that they had never practiced before on 4th and 2. Love does the stanky laying. Good thing he didn't get hurt here. That looks like it could have been bad. It was also embarrassing for the Packers, blowing a 12-point fourth quarter lead to Atlanta, but in this game, they redeemed themselves with their 17-point comeback. Moving on to a joke of a team, the Las Vegas Raiders. It's bad in Vegas. They have one of the best running backs, one of the best wide receivers, and can't get anything done. It's gotten so bad that a fan had to write an essay on why he's quitting being a Raiders fan after over 20 years of support. He says it's affecting his mental health too much. I don't blame him. You have terrible coaching. You have Jimmy G throwing interceptions like these just straight to the other team, and you have the defense dropping pick sixes like this. But the coaching is just as bad. They line up to go for it on 4th and 1. A penalty moves them back. Then a Steelers penalty gives them the first down. Later on in the drive, a minute later, a 4th down, they decide to kick a field goal down 8 points with just over 2 minutes remaining. Even if they get the ball back, they still have to drive the length of the field and score a touchdown. They can't tie the game with another field goal. Just Josh McDaniels is a terrible coach. The Raiders, it's over for him. I truly don't understand how NFL coaches, supposed to be the best of the best, make terrible decisions like these. You've given up 23 points to Pittsburgh. There's no chance you're going to get the ball back. And even if you do, with a little bit of time, you have to go the length of the field and score another touchdown. Like, how does this NFL coach making millions of dollars mess up this bad? I was in disbelief when I was watching this game. I don't blame that Raiders fan for throwing in the white flag. Was there anybody on earth, anybody at all, that agreed with this play call? It was fun to watch Belichick mad and spike his challenge flag. There was a lot of bad in the Colts-Ravens game. Minshew stepping out of the back of the end zone was quite funny, but Matt Gay setting the NFL record, going 4 for 4 from 50 plus, was amazing. Probably the worst part was the Baltimore offense at home against the Colts on 14 offensive drives, only being able to lead your team to 17 points, 2 drives in overtime, both stalling out at midfield. And of course, to end it off, Kadarius Toney's week 1 performance against the Lions, pretty much handing the Lions a pick 6 and then dropping a pass on a potential game-winning drive. Oh, and Vikings fans, how could I forget? Did you really think I was going to leave out this abomination? Crazy how that was a touchdown pass. Anyway, that's it from the worst moments from the first 3 weeks of the NFL. Let me know what moments I missed and I'll put them in the next video.